And our top focus on WION right now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to take decisive action against Yemen's Houthis following a missile strike on Tel Aviv. Netanyahu warned that Israel would target what he described as the last remaining arm of Iran's axis of evil. Israeli military had failed to intercept the pre-dawn missile attack by the Houthis on Saturday. 16 people were injured in the attack, forcing many to leave their homes. The strike on Tel Aviv marked the second attack on Israel by the Iranian-backed Houthis this week. The Houthis claim that they are acting in support with the Palestinians who are embroiled in a conflict with Israel and Hamas in Gaza.
Against the terror arms of Iran's evil axis, so we will act against the Houthis. Only in this case, we are not acting alone. The US and other countries see the Houthis as a threat not only to international shipping, but to the international order. Therefore, we will act forcefully with determination and sophistication. I tell you, even if it takes time, the result will be the same result as against the other terror arms.
Netanyahu's latest comments came after the US claimed it launched airstrikes targeting Yemen's rebel-held capital Sana'a, hours after the Houthis hit Tel Aviv. According to the US Central Command, the targeted strikes included a Houthi missile storage center and a command and control facility. Meanwhile, in addition to the strikes, US forces also intercepted and destroyed multiple Houthi drones and an anti-ship cruise missile over the Red Sea. Experts say that the action by the US demonstrates its commitment in protecting its interests and that of its allies in the region. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthi military spokesperson has claimed that they had targeted the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman and accompanying destroyers in the Red Sea. They claimed that the operation resulted in the downing of an F-18 aircraft. And contradicting to the Houthi claims, US military says that 2 US Navy pilots were shot down over the Red Sea in an apparent case of friendly fire. US Central Command says that a full investigation is underway into the incident.
The armed forces have successfully thwarted an American-British attack on our country, during which the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier and several of its destroyers were targeted in conjunction with the start of the aggressive attack on our country last night. The operation was executed with 8 cruise missiles and 17 drones, and by the grace of Allah, the operation resulted in first, the downing of an F-18 aircraft, while the destroyers were attempting to intercept Yemeni drones and missiles.
The latest escalation comes as Israeli jets launched a series of strikes against energy and port infrastructure in Yemen on December 19th. Israeli officials say that this was in response to hundreds of missile and drone attacks launched by the Houthis since the beginning of the Gaza war 14 months ago. Well, as the war in West Asia spills over, the Israeli government shared images of Netanyahu's security cabinet meeting in northern Israel on Sunday, where the officials examined weapons and war materials it said were seized in the south of Lebanon. They also visited a mock tunnel and a mock command center that the Prime Minister's office said was similar to those found during operations in Lebanon. Highlighting the worsening aid situation to the besieged Gaza Strip, aid group Oxfam has said that out of the 34 trucks of food and water given permission to enter North Gaza, over the last 2 months, only 12 trucks managed to complete the task. Oxfam has blamed the delays and systematic obstructions by the Israeli military. And well, for more on this, our correspondent Jody Cohen is now joining us live from Tel Aviv in Israel. Hi, Jody. First up, what's Israel's response to the accusations that it's limiting food and water into Gaza? Because according to latest report by Oxfam, out of 34 trucks, only 12 have been able to supply aid into Gaza.
Hi, Raisha. So Israel rejects accusations that it's not allowing food to enter. I've been in touch with COGAT, which is the agency that coordinates between Gaza and Israel. They said that throughout the war, Israel has facilitated more than 1.2 million tons of aid entering Gaza, including 920,000 tons of food, 52,000 tons of water and 30,000 tons of medical supplies. Now, I asked specifically about the average number of calories per person per day entering Gaza, and they said that the average was 2,750 calories per person per day, and that Israel will continue efforts to facilitate the humanitarian response for the civilian population in Gaza and to increase aid. They said that any distribution issues are the result of aid organisations not collecting the aid and terror groups stealing it. And they said, for example, that there's a Hamas video showing Hamas digging up water pipes and turning them into rockets. Now, Israel holds Hamas responsible for the humanitarian situation in Gaza, for starting the war with the 7th of October massacre in Israel, and for still holding the 100 hostages.
Right, Jody, has there been any progress with the negotiations concerning Gaza? There's only 1 month left until inauguration, and President Trump wanted, and he said that he'll have to pay if the hostages are not home by then.
So we're hearing that the negotiations are ongoing, that nothing has actually been resolved as yet. Hamas has reportedly provided signs of life for several hostages, but they still are refusing to provide a list of the living hostages. Meanwhile, opposition party head Benny Gantz has suggested that Netanyahu is sabotaging the talks, but the Biden administration appears to have suggested that Hamas has been intransigent over the talks over the past months, and that is what has held it up. Now, remember, there are also American hostages being held in Gaza, and Trump's pick for National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has said that those who take US hostages may get a bullet in the forehead. Waltz said that the cost of holding hostages would outweigh the benefits. He suggested Hamas is more isolated than ever with the weakening of Hezbollah and Iran, and said that Hamas has every exit blocked except one, and that's to release the hostages if Hamas wants to live.
Right, Jody, thanks very much for joining us on the show with your insights on this.